The 1998 Rally New Zealand, where the now traditional super special stage at Manukau City provided a muddy curtain raiser. 6 weeks earlier, Greece's Acropolis Rally had given Colin McRae his third victory of the year. Fourth place was the reward for a disappointed Carlos Sainz, while Tommy Mäkinen, the reigning world champion, went out on stage one.
Tommy presses the starter button. Can you hear a relay clicking?
Juha Kankkunen finished third for Ford, underlining the team's consistency. So after 8 rounds, McRae held a 5-point advantage over Sainz in the World Drivers' Championship, while Mäkinen was fourth behind Kankkunen. Round 9 took the cruise halfway around the world to New Zealand's North Island and the city of Auckland. 6 of Leg 1's 8 short stages were to the south of the city in the Maramarua forest. Torrential rain in the days leading up to the event had caused widespread flooding, turning fields into lakes and roads into rivers. Championship leader Colin McRae was the first to sample the saturated forests, although the conditions didn't seem to handicap the Scotsman. He and his co-driver Nicky Christ were fastest on the opening forestry stage, and so took an early lead. Carlos Sainz and Lewis Moyer had been fastest on the Manukau Super Special and were again quickest on stage 3 to retake the lead from McRae.
Para izquierda rápido, ojos de tierra, a fondo.
Sainz's Toyota teammate Didier Auriol was in third place, the support act to the battle between his colleague and the Subaru driver.
Sur gauche à fond. Sur gauche à fond, plonge. Sur droite à fond. 50 mètres, attention, droite, bon plus, attention, plonge. Bon plus, attention, plonge.
For once, McRae had 2 teammates. Piero Liati was 8th after stage 3, while the young Finnish driver Juha Kangas was outside the top 10 on his first event for the Subaru team.
How was this morning?
I think in this Maramarua forest it was quite slippery, especially the second time through the mud came out and it was quite slippery.
Do you have a disadvantage running second on the road?
Not at all.
All these stages are very short. Is there therefore much chance to pull out or lose much time?
Yeah, sometimes in the short stages you can make more time. If you just get it right from the start, you know, you get in the rhythm straight away, you can make a bit of time, but the times are all very, very close.
The rally is very long, just take care and we see. For me, I absolutely don't want to start first, so you know, it's always better when you don't know the stage if you are a little bit behind, so you can see the line a little bit, you can see the braking, so it's help a little bit.
Mitsubishi's Tommy Mäkinen began cautiously. He'd crashed out of his last 3 visits to New Zealand and wasn't taking any chances. Despite his caution, he still made 1 or 2 errors, but a string of retirements this year meant that he and Risto Manisinmäki simply had to finish the event. Mäkinen's teammate Richard Burns won the rally in 1996 when it wasn't a round of the championship. Burns and his co-driver Robert Reid were faster than their colleagues on all but 2 of the day's stages, and the pair were in 4th place behind Auriol.
Do the times make good reading or bad reading?
All right. It was a little bit steady start because I think it's it is little bit in my mind last 3 years.
So you're a bit nervous this morning?
Yeah, probably a little bit, yes. I want to start and try to find my normal driving style and everything. I think then it starts going, no problem.
Juha Kankkunen won in New Zealand 12 years ago, but the Ford Escort is now in its last year of competition, and the 4 times world champion was struggling. He and Juha Repo were 5th.
Flat left over crest and flat right over crest. And crest 70, flat left 200. Crest 300. Crest to mud and very long easy right opens.
Bruno Thierry's had a disastrous season. Sidelined with broken ribs for 2 rounds, a string of engine failures have left the Belgian hardly able to believe his bad luck. Like Mäkinen, Thierry desperately needed a good result.
50. Long droite 25 plus, gauche 30 plus étroit. Gauche 30 plus étroit. vue en droite 25 plus.
The two cars Ford had brought to New Zealand were both brand new, the last intended works escorts ever to be built. Thierry's roll, however, at over 100 kilometres an hour, meant that they'd now need to build at least one more.
How are you and how's the car?
Me, I am okay. My co-driver, he has a little bit of headache, and the car, it's, I think it was his first rally and last rally. I think the car is finished. I think yes, it's very bad damage.
If I'm right, you've never had an accident as big as that before. Is that correct?
It's my first time, my first big accident ever when I destroyed completely the car. Okay, I rolled a few times. For example, this year again in Spain, I had a stupid accident. I don't know what's happened this year, but it's, like I said, in Greece, seems to be not my season, and I don't know. 98, we have to forget this season as soon as possible.
In Formula 2, Hyundai chose New Zealand to debut their Evolution 2 coupes, driven by Australian Wayne Bell and the winner of last year's rally, Kenneth Eriksson. With Oriol Gomez away developing Seat's new World Rally car, the team brought Finland's Tony Gardemeister to New Zealand, while Chris Rosenberger drove the Sawfish Racing team's Volkswagen Golf. It was, though, business as usual at the head of the F2 leaderboard. Harry Rovanperä led the 2-litre category for Seat, despite a strong challenge from Eriksson in the new Hyundai. McRae had been fighting with Sainz all day and set the fastest time on stage 6 to take the lead once again.
6 left, 70 turn, long slow 4 left, slippy exit.
But the stage highlighted the dangers of spectators standing in stupid places. Keep your eyes on the right-hand side of the road.
Into 5 left plus opens.
McRae hit the spectator, breaking his leg, although it could have been much worse. Leg 1's final stage was another super special at Manukau, but more than 24 hours of rain had turned the stage into a sea of mud. It wasn't just the handling of the cars which was affected, however.
We were having a really good run and we come round to the last corner just as it comes onto the straight, and Juha Kangas was on the inside and we were just coming past him faster, and all the spray from his wheel spinning come straight over on the top of it, smashed the screen, then blanketed the screen and couldn't see a thing, and I knew the end of the Armco was there, so I just backed out of it and drove it against the bank so I didn't hit the Armco.
Tactics also came into play on that stage.
What's the time like? It's 1:28 now.
Did McRae, the rally leader, really want to run first on the road on leg 2?
Yeah, hang on, steady. 1:37. Wait a second, steady.
I reckon it's better losing sort of 4 seconds and being third in the road than first, so we'll see if it works tomorrow.
Being wet, I prefer maybe to be in front because you don't see any line and then you just concentrate in your driving.
I would like to see the line of the another in front of me, but okay, now it's like that. We try the best tomorrow and we see tomorrow.
McRae's tactic of slowing down had dropped him to 3rd place behind Sainz, but the new leader was Oriol, fastest on 3 of the day's stages. Burns was 4th, Kankkunen 5th, and Mäkinen ended leg 1 in 6th place. It was still falling, and the flooding was far worse than on the previous day. Rivers which had burst their banks forced the organisers to reroute the rally around landslides, and eventually led to the cancellation of 2 of the morning stages. Running first on the road and sweeping away the loose gravel is traditionally a handicap in New Zealand, but conditions were now similar for all of the leading crews, so Oriol was one of the few drivers who were happy with the rain.
Droite à fond plonge, sur gauche à fond plonge. Attention, droite bon plus arbre, attention, droite bon plus arbre.
Second fastest on the day's opening stage, Oriol and Denis Girardet were quickest on the next to extend their lead to over 16 seconds. Sainz, though, fought back on the 3rd, the rally's 13th, clawing back exactly a second. That stage also saw the day's first retirement when Toyota's Marcus Gronholm went out with engine failure. Mäkinen's confidence was returning, although he was still in 6th place.
Oikee, heti nyppy lyhyt vasen eri, helppo, 120. Oikee täys silta, kapea, 180.
Tommy was 4th fastest on stage 12, just over 3 seconds slower than Carlos, but the damage to the side of the car suggests Mäkinen wasn't his usual neat self. The rain seemed to suit Richard Burns, 2nd fastest on stage 12 and equal quickest on 13 with Sainz. He moved up into 3rd place ahead of McRae. In the appalling conditions, the information Burns was getting from his gravel crew was proving invaluable.
Robbie, what does the gravel crew actually do?
Well, we actually drive through the stage about an hour and a half before the actual crews themselves, just to mark down any difficult places and muddy sections that have got extra water on them, especially today with the bad weather conditions. There's quite a few areas that the water's creeped onto the middle of the road and the drivers have to take a different line.
Can it make a huge difference?
I think it's more peace of mind. They know exactly what's coming to them, and there's been a few washaways and landslides here, so I mean it changes the route and it changes the severity of the corner a fair bit. So yeah, I mean it is quite important, and we can try and help him with tyre choice. It's his ultimate decision, but if we can give him accurate details, that might just help.
100, easy right plus don't cut, 60, medium left minus, ditch out. 50, medium right minus in. Slippery. 60, fast left, 20, medium right plus in.
McRae and Grist had slipped a place. A spin on stage 12 cost around 10 seconds and dropped the Subaru to 4th, while 5th placed Kankinen was now just 15 seconds behind.
70, long 5 left line, and 6 left, and 5 right, tightens cut, 30.
Much of the speculation behind the scenes at the service areas, meanwhile, was about which driver would be at which team next year.
We'd be very happy to have Colin driving for Ford, there's no question. A lot of speculation, there's a lot of negotiation going on at the moment, and for sure we'd be delighted to have Colin driving for Ford.
We'd obviously like to keep Colin. As far as we're concerned, he's the best driver in the world, and it would be a shame if the relationship ended now, but if it does, we'll soldier on. We've got alternative plans.
And it's no secret that those alternative plans involve Richard Burns.
We would like to hang on to Richard. I know he's had a good offer, and I'm delighted that he has had a good offer. I mean, it maybe means that we've done a good job in bringing him on to be the driver he is. So I'm quite pleased with that, but I certainly would like to hang on to him.
What about Tommy?
No, Tommy will be with me next year.
We have a 3-year contract with Carlos, and I hope Didier will stay, but okay, that's not finalized yet, but I hope so.
Seat's driver lineup next year will include Harry Rovanperä, whose Ibiza led Formula 2 by over a minute at the end of leg 2. Second in the category was the much improved Hyundai Coupe, an encouraging start for the new car.
Höger 4 minus, 70. Break, vänster 2, halvlångt. I höger 5, 30.
We have done a fantastic job during the 6 months. We have built a new team together and developed a new car as well. So all the credits to the boys, but they have been working very, very hard. And this is the outcome that we are now competing with the Seat, and that's very, very nice to have that feeling.
Juha Kangas and his veteran co-driver Pentti Kukala were in 13th place, but their rally would end on stage 12. Kangas put the car off the road. At least others made the same mistake, but it's still embarrassing to have to break the bad news to your new team. Kangas, though, will be back. Piero Liatti and Fabrizio Pons in the other Impreza were locked in a battle with the Toyota of Thomas Rodstrom and Gunnar Bach. Rodstrom had started the day ahead of Liati, but the Italian had grabbed 7th place on stage 9, the day's first, and less than 10 seconds would separate the two when the rally returned to Auckland. Kankkunen, meanwhile, was still 5th, battling in vain to catch the men ahead of him.
70, long bad left, stone in, and medium right, long bad left, and very long bad right, tight and mud.
McRae in 4th place was unhappy with the car's setup. His windscreen had missed it up at one point and he wasn't enjoying what's usually one of his favourite events.
6 right at 70, slow 4 right line.
The Subaru's damaged steering meant Burns could edge away. The young Englishman would end leg 2 almost 10 seconds ahead of McRae. But Toyota Corollas still held the top 2 places. Sainz had been fastest on 3 of the day's stages and was in 2nd place, while a determined Oriol had been quickest on 4th and so would start the final day in the lead.
Tomorrow, okay, you know, the stages are completely different. It's a twisty stage and very, very long stage, and it can happen quite a lot of things. But of course, Carlos can catch me, and maybe I can go faster than him, and maybe Colin McRae can catch us again, you know, but it's very long stage, and if you do just a few mistakes, you can have a puncture or broken one wheel, or I think it's not finished yet.
A little over 30 seconds separated the leading pair, with Burns a further 14.5 seconds behind Sainz. McRae, Kankkunen and Mäkinen were also within 40 seconds of each other, so Oriol was right. Anything could happen on leg 3. At last, the sun was shining. Much of the day would also be spent close to the sea, a stiff breeze helping to dry the stages. Oriol and Girardet set off into the first of those, at 48 kilometres, the longest of the event, and hoped that running first on the road wasn't a drawback.
Long gauche à fond. Sur attention, droite 5, attention. Sur attention, droite 5, attention. Sur attention, gauche 60. 5, attention, gauche 60. Bien propre là-dedans. Droite 5, attention. Qu'est-ce qui arrive? Allez. C'est bon. On a cassé quelque chose, non? On a cassé quelque chose, non? Allez, push!
While Oriol lost over 40 seconds and the lead with that spin, Burns also discovered that the stage demanded respect.
To crest the K right, long, 30, K left, plus 30, medium right, big cut.
Okay, bonus wheels. Yeah.
The battered Mitsubishi went on to finish the stage, but the roll had cost 15 minutes and any hope of a good result.
Richard, you started this morning so optimistically. What happened on that first stage?
Well, first of all, I think I chose slightly too hard a compound tyre, but I just clipped the inside of a corner. There was a lot of road works and some places you can cut across, and I tried to, and it just hit the inside and rolled over. But there was nobody there. We had to run and find some people to get the car back on its wheels. It took a long time.
Can you make any of that time back, or is it all out of the window now?
No, I don't know. I haven't had a look, to be honest. So I don't think it's possible to get in the points even. So we'll see. The car's okay though.
Super. Thank you.
The fastest time on the stage, meanwhile, was set by Colin McRae, who was now in 3rd place, only 8 seconds behind Oriol.
We changed the car a bit last night back to the older spec suspension. Changed the diff again, so we've messed around with the car and it feels a lot more positive, and it just gives you a bit more confidence in the faster. And drove very well, didn't make any mistakes, kept it very tidy.
That stage was then repeated, but McRae's luck had changed second time around.
And 6 left minus 1, puncture. And 5 right plus tightens cut. And right and 4 left plus opens.
30, long fast left, and keep left over 30 to long bad right. Medium left, tightens to long K left.
McRae then had to drive the remainder of the stage with a tyre which was in pieces, and then a long road section to the next service area meant that the wheel itself was destroyed. Over 3 minutes were lost, which dropped him from 3rd to 5th.
After about 15 k's the Emmy started to break up and it took the tyre off, so we we had to drive 30 kilometres with a puncture.
Could you not put a spare tyre or spare wheel on?
We didn't have a spare because we took the spare out just to keep the car as light as possible.
Was it a risk worth taking?
Normally, yeah, because these tyres are puncture-proof. They should run flat, but there's been a fault in the tyre.
So any points at all from here would be good after this?
Yeah, at the moment we've still got 2 points, so we'll see if we can keep a hold of these.
Despite the incidents on those first 2 stages, there was still time for some light-hearted moments at the service area. Burns must have wished the scooter could have taken him home, but there were others who'd gained from his misfortune.
If you wait much longer, you'll be in first place. You seem to be gradually climbing up the order.
Yeah, I think we need another 1 week more rallying, then it could be possible.
Can you win this rally now, or are you too far behind?
It's a long way. It's maybe too long way, and I think it's too long way. I try to do what I can, but I believe it's too long.
The Australian driver Michael Guest would win Group N, while another Subaru Impreza won its own battle. Piero Liatti finished 6th and so picked up 1 World Championship point, while Thomas Rodstrom's Toyota was 7th and the first of the non-works cars to finish. Juha Kankkunen finished 4th in one of the last factory Ford Escorts ever to be built. After 30 years, the team's next car will have a different name. Tommi Mäkinen was 3rd. That spin was his only error of the final day, and so Tommy could finally lay the ghosts of the Rally New Zealand to rest. After a promising start, a string of problems on the final day caused Kenneth Eriksson's Hyundai to drop to 3rd in Formula 2. Tony Gardemeister could then finish 2nd in F2 on his debut for the Seat team, while Harri Rovanperä and his co-driver Risto Petialainen won the category on their last event before switching to the team's World Rally car.
2. Oikeeko aukee. Jatkaa oikein eri 3. Pirun pitkä vasen nopea.
On stage 21, the day's 3rd, Oriol had retaken the lead, while Sainz had snatched it back on stage 23. 0.6 of a second was now the gap.
Denis, Lewis, you're the 2 guys closest to the drivers. What's going to happen on these last 2 stages?
It will be like from the start of the rally. We'll push very, very hard, you know. They are used to fight together since 10 years, I don't know. So it's the first time that we are on the same team, but they are used to.
I think for us it's a bit easier. We just have to administrate the difference. We have 0.6 of a second in front of Didier and Denis, so if we lose 0.3 of a second in this stage and 0.3 on the next one, we're equal at the end. But we were quickest on the first stage, so then we win.
Spanish mathematics did little to hide the tension. Both drivers have won 1 event this year, and so team orders wouldn't be applied. Sainz was 1.5 seconds faster than Oriol on the penultimate stage, and so Didier would need to be 2.2 seconds quicker than Carlos on the last to win. It was possible. Just.
Para derecha cae cuarta de tierra. Ahí las ruedas. Abrirse 1, derecha buena más se cierra con fe. Para 1 Sassar, izquierda buena más se cierra.
But Sainz was again faster, giving him a record-breaking victory.
Congratulations, it's your 22nd win. No drivers managed that number of World Championship wins. How does it feel?
Very good. Really good. I think it has been fantastic rally, but well, I'm very happy.
Sainz took his 4th victory in New Zealand by 4.1 seconds, with Oriol giving Toyota their second 1-2 of the season. A relieved Mäkinen was 3rd, Kankkunen 4th, and McRae a frustrated 5th. The result restores Sainz to the head of the Drivers' Championship, with McRae 3 points behind and Mäkinen 10 points adrift in 3rd place. In the series for manufacturers, 16 points from their 1-2 means that Toyota lead once again from Subaru, with Mitsubishi 3rd and Ford 4th. Finally, in the 2-litre World Cup, Seat also scored maximum points and so extended their lead over Peugeot. Round 10 of the championship is the Rally of Finland, where Mäkinen will be favourite to take his 5th successive victory. Juha Kankkunen, though, will have other ideas, as will Subaru's guest driver for the event, Jarno Kutuleito. However, one of the very few non-Finns to win the rally